So while Nikki is away for a few days, I figured I should do a video in her place. I guess I haven't really formally introduced myself on this channel yet. I'm Erin, the pseudo-millennial, ex-Floridian college grad that helps Nikki with production. Some of you particularly observant members of the audience may recognize me from the Take Two channel, or may have seen me in the back of a few videos. I mostly do graphics, animations, and for the past few months, about 80% of the thumbnails. I'm also Transport Evolved's first regularly paid employee, which is kind of neat. And about a year ago, I was officially hired here at Transport Evolved. Now, a lot has changed for me in the past year, specifically my interests and knowledge in the field of cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter transportation. I also have a dirty little secret to tell you. I don't have an electric car. When I was much younger, I detested pretty much anything electronic or mechanical. Computers, cell phones, you name it. Obviously that's changed since, but this has affected how I went about purchasing my first car. At the time, I really didn't care what kind of car I got. As long as it was mechanically sound and it wasn't an absolute gas guzzler, it was okay in my books. And that's how I ended up with my current car. Her name is Rutherford. She is a 1992 Champagne Honda Accord with 171,000 miles on it. And I am the second owner. I bought this car purely because I needed to get around and also because it was cheap and I wouldn't be paying off a loan. Also, to cut on cost, I try to do most of the maintenance myself. Oil changes, change the brake pads, having to then change the caliper because one of them was stuck. You know, fun stuff. I also get a lot of looks and some interesting tones at shows when I tell people I have a car that runs on gas. I'm also, getting kind of tired of explaining the noises that my car makes aren't going to get them killed. You're in a car that is 3 years shy of 30. I know people much younger than that and make just as much noise. Give her some slack. I work for a company that covers electric cars, and it doesn't really sit right with me to be preaching the good word of electricity, but still be driving a nearly 27-year-old car. So what's my next car gonna be? Probably a hybrid. Hopefully a plug-in hybrid. Yep, not full electric. I'll tell you why in a bit. But first, let's look at things that went into consideration. Any of you that have gone car shopping are probably familiar with making some sort of shopping list or checklist. Cost, size, miles per gallon, or battery capacity, trunk space, all that fun car shopping stuff. So I'm a young adult, a college grad, which means I got that good old student debt. Let me tell you now, I hate owing people money. I already owe thousands just for wanting to learn some skills and trades. So cheaper is always good in my book. Size is also important. I rent a townhouse with 3 other people who also have cars. No SUVs. Can't do it. Rutherford, for her age, actually does pretty good on the highway, maxing around 25 miles per gallon. But with a nearly 50-mile commute per workday, driving this car is just no longer sustainable. More trips using the battery means less trips to the gas station and less money flying out of my wallet. Also, I quite like going on short road trips, so minimizing the cost on those would be nice too. Trunk and cabin space is important. While I don't do many physically large projects, it helps being able to haul stuff, especially when moving. So with all these in mind, I'm going to compromise with a hybrid, specifically a used plug-in hybrid. I've been looking at 2 specifically, the Chevy Volt or the Audi A3 Sportback e-tron. The latter I only recently saw on the road and shallowly thought, I quite like the look of that one. Again, before I joined the Transport Evolved team, I never put that much thought into what I really wanted in a car, because truthfully, I find driving a bit tedious and a bit boring. Mostly because I do a dreadful 1 hour and 30-minute commute home. And when you're moving about 5 miles per hour on the freeway, cars become a little bit annoying. Slanderous thoughts and opinions aside, the Volt would do much of my commute on electricity, and then while at work, I can charge the car and then roll right back on out. As a designer, the body is a bit uninspiring. It looks pretty standard as far as a sedan goes, but standard is honestly just fine. The A3 is a bit more fun as far as looks go, and having something that looks and feels more luxury would be a real treat. But price-wise, I don't believe it's a sustainable choice for myself. Also, they're much harder to come by. Now let's go to the segment I would like to call I am still a normie, and electric cars make me a little nervous. While electric cars have been tested and developed and released throughout the 21st century, I have to say, as someone relatively new to the scene, they still make me nervous. Now, before you scalp me, let me tell you why. To me, I see a significant lack in confidence in the product when it comes to advertising. Advertising an image is essential to properly selling a product. Nikki invited guest Matt Teskey to critique some of the weirdest EV advertisements in the industry. You should probably check that video out too. And in that video, we saw just how confused the auto industry can be when it comes to advertising these cars. Another factor for me is, unfortunately, range anxiety. While I do live in an urban environment and I typically am not too far from a charger, I do like to road trip occasionally, and I know certain stretches of road just don't have as many charging points as I would like or would feel comfortable with. Lastly, price. The only electric car that instantly caught my attention was the e-tron, but the price tag also caught my attention. And then so did the exit. As a younger consumer and a college grad, unfortunately, I just don't have $1,000 to drop on a Tesla or an e-tron. Like I said, I already have student debt, and financing something that expensive, I might as well be living in the car. The point of all this is to say, for younger people, it can often be hard to even consider purchasing an electric car when cars like mine can be bought for so cheap. It's easy to get wrapped up in the hype of luxury electric vehicles, but it's important to consider affordability. To many younger folks living paycheck to paycheck, an electric car sounds nice in theory, but incredibly difficult in practice. I am fortunate to have the job that I do, and also see an end in sight when it comes to my own student loans. It's easy to become placid with the state of the norm, and change often takes concerted effort I'm willing to go through with. While it's not a gazelle's leap, adopting a hybrid vehicle will help me do my part in staying cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter. I personally plan on getting my new car, hopefully within the next year. And just so you know, I will be updating my progress, so be sure to stay tuned by subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know exactly when we post a new video. Well, that's all for this video. Let me know some of your favorite hybrids and plug-in hybrids, and don't forget to hit that like button. Until next time, keep evolving.